Stop saying that you listen to everything because you don't. You do not listen to everything, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with not listening to everything. You don't have to. It's not impressive. It doesn't impress, and it shouldn't impress. You shouldn't be listening to music to impress people. You should be listening to music for the experience. Music is such a powerful experience, and that means actually only you only you know how that can make you feel. So here's this issue. I listen to a lot of music, right? I like to call myself listens to everything Final Boss because I go out of my way to explore different genres and explore like the history of different bands and different sounds and styles and scenes and everything. And uh, in my exploration, I have learned quite a bit about different styles of music. I could make like an emo timeline in my head, and like I could start from where like emo started and get up until like I can explain each wave and everything, that kind of stuff, right? And I want to get to a point where I can do that with any genre because I feel like music, the history of music is such a time capsule. It's genuinely one of the most beautiful time capsules ever, too. I just feel like people think listening to music is a competition. And the people who think it's a competition usually are the ones at the very back. Can we not listen to music in a way where we enjoy it, you know? And I'm not saying that doesn't mean like make a playlist for family and friends, like a playlist for the car that your parents are going to be in. This isn't the normal music you listen to. Like I'm not talking about that. Like I'm talking about like pretending that you listen to stuff that you don't. And like there's no gain from that. I can see right through it when people talk about it because if I bring up like, oh, that's cool, that's cool. Do you like this band? Do you know what this band is? And like for example, there was a kid that I knew at my old job, and he said he really likes thrash metal. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I love thrash metal. I was excited, but he couldn't name any thrash metal bands that I would name, and I'm naming like big ones like Slayer or uh, Megadeth and Metallica. Like these are like some of the biggest metal bands ever too. So it was kind of shocking that he didn't know those bands. Then I find out that he was mistakenly calling thrash metal new metal. So those are not the same thing at all, okay? Like new metal bands are stuff like Slipknot, or Korn, or or even early Deftones or Rage Against the Machine on occasion or bands like that. But so this is my problem when it comes to people that say they listen to everything. What they actually mean most of the time is that they listen to music outside of the bounds of a genre. This might mean that they like a couple country songs here and there. They like a couple pop songs, a couple rock songs, maybe a metal song here or there. But they don't truly know what is truly distinct about each one, maybe, and they might go based off of it by vibes or something like that. And that is 100% okay. There's nothing wrong with not really knowing what's the difference between all these genres because there's so many of them and it's such a complicated discussion to begin with. And I feel like in that process of thinking, they think that listening to all of these different genres unintentionally means they listen to everything. And that's not exactly a bad thing to say that you listen to everything. And it's really semantics for me. But I just feel like at the end of the day, uh, what's the point of saying that when it's not true? When what you mean is that genre necessarily doesn't necessarily determine whether or not you like a song. Obviously, you might have preferences, and because there are some people that low key only listen to country, or low key only listen to pop, or low key only listen to some like I don't fucking know, like only listen to alternative rock. There's plenty of people that are like this. They know what they like and they stick to what they like. That's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like people try to distinguish themselves from those people by saying, "Oh, I listen to everything. Yeah, I listen to a little bit of everything or whatever." You don't, and that's okay. I think I deserve to say that because genuinely that has become my life purpose, listening to fucking anything that I can, you know? I want to be able to like have like a music timeline eventually. And I feel like the only way that I can do that is by listening to everything that I possibly can listen to before I die of a heart attack because I drink too many of these and I went to the hospital last year because of them. Heh. But like it's just like I don't know. I listen to everything for my gain, right? I think that I feel better as myself when I listen to more different kinds of music. I feel like I'm experiencing more of history and more of culture. You know, like different kinds of folk music from all around the world is beautiful. One of my favorite kinds of music from around the world is desert blues. It's fucking beautiful, you know? And I just feel like people think that's stupid or nerdy or something. And that's like a problem to me. I feel like you're just not experiencing music full enough. And just because music is background noise for you doesn't mean that this isn't a powerful, beautiful experience that usually leaves me crying. I cry to music every day. I mean, look, I just finally got my Periphery CD, so I'm going to be listening to that a whole lot. Just for example. Oh, don't fall. But so that's my problem. There's nothing wrong with distinguishing yourself from those that definitely know what they like and stick to it, you know, to the T. But there's a gap in between like, oh, I only listen to this kind of stuff because this is all I like. I listen to different kinds of things. It doesn't really matter to me. And then sometimes people who say that they actually don't really know what the genres are. And so I'll be like, if they say they listen to a little bit of everything, I'll be like, really? Like, what are some of your favorite songs? I could tell them like what the genres might be. Like, usually it ends up being the same kinds of things, like alternative rock, um, a little bit of pop rap, a little bit of new wave, a little bit of country pop. Like, it's usually like a little mixture of a bunch of things, maybe a couple um, progressive festival progressive house songs or something like that. You know, think it, or maybe even like dubstep, like modern dubstep even. But in doing that though, I have to distinguish myself from that kind of person. So I call myself like listens to everything Final Boss, and I say I listen to everything. But that's because listening to everything for me means so much. I feel like there's so much music and on this earth and such a short life that we all live. And I dedicate a lot of it to listening to whatever the hell I can find. I mean, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I've listened to niche artists that you've never heard of. Because that's not how this works. This includes popular artists. I listen to music I know I'm not going to like. I have a project going on where I listen to all the top 100 best-selling albums of the 1970s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, because I find that intriguing. I find it very interesting how all of that works and how historically the different kinds of music that we listen to encourage different behaviors, encourage different ways of thinking, encourages like shifts in culture and politics and social issues and everything, and the production, how that changes over time, how we went from using vinyls to using CDs to like having digital things to cassettes, all those kinds of things. I find it fucking amazing and fucking beautiful. But I can't sit here and let people say they listen to everything when they don't. And there's nothing wrong with not listening to everything. Okay? But yeah,